What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you want to do me a huge favor, click that like, maybe that subscribe too, and also that notification bell too if you want to keep notified every time we post a video. We do it twice a day, so feel free to get involved or not. Up to you. And with that being said, let's get straight in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story does come from Blurry Goner, and it follows with an update, and that's why I'm going to read the original story first. I'm not sure if we've covered this one in the past either, so bear with me here. Am I the arsehole for moving out against my parents' wishes? I, female 18, have several motives for moving out. 1. I have issues with my dad. He fits the bill of a narcissist. He nitpicks minor details, controls all aspects of my life. Friends, relationships, screen time. We have no privacy. Constantly checks our phone and says extremely hurtful things. I've tried talking to him and my mum about it, but things never change. 2. Religion. My parents are Christians and extremely conservative. They want their kids to live like them, but they tend to force us and manipulate us into acting according to their religion. 3. Homophobia. I was outed to my parents as a lesbian by a friend years ago. They don't accept me. They said horrible things to me and put me through various programs to try to fix me. The beginning of this year, they found out that I have a girlfriend. They flipped out. Even though I'm 18, they took my phone and kept me in the house for months. My clothing and haircuts are controlled. Everything I do is monitored, and my siblings are recruited to spy on me. They are no longer providing financial support due to my sexuality, so I cannot attend university. I'd be a lot happier if I moved out. I'm emotionally exhausted and my mental health has seriously dipped multiple times. I've tried my best to comply with their wishes respectfully, but sometimes I've failed. By insisting on cutting my hair and by lying that I didn't have a girlfriend. Even though I haven't been allowed to see my girlfriend, we've managed to stay in contact. She has offered to let me move into her flat with her. It's on her parents' property and they said they would support me financially until I'm on my feet. I was going to tell my parents on the day I left, but I realized I'd be an asshole, so I told them. I explained that obviously we were having issues and listed basic motives and that it will probably benefit everyone in the end. They were furious. They told me I'm being selfish and stupid and that if I do this, I'll be obliterating the bridge between us. They told me they saw no reason that I'd want to leave and I'm being irrational. My father said I've broken my mother's heart and caused irreparable damage to the family. They told me I'm never going to be successful. They said they won't compromise on anything but I shouldn't leave. And they are apparently incredibly hurt that I'd want to leave at all, and they said they think I must have told a sob story that they are complete jerks and lied about them. Which I told them I only told my girlfriend the straight, basic facts. They are using scare tactics and manipulation to try and get me to stay. I know that moving out in this way is more sudden, but I've done my best to be prepared as possible, and my girlfriend's parents have been advising me. They think my parents are assholes and want me to leave as soon as possible for my own health. My parents' biggest issue is they don't support me moving in with my girlfriend specifically. Am I the arsehole? No. From controlling your haircuts, keeping you in the house for months and taking your phone away, getting siblings to spy on you, taking away financial support so they knew you couldn't get away to university, and then emotionally manipulating at the end there. It's just full of not the arseholes. You're definitely not the arsehole. And I hate talking about someone else's family like that because you never know their true feelings towards their family. But from looking at this post, it makes me sick that people treat their own child like this. Their own child. And I know they're 18 now and I know they're an adult, but still, the point still stands. And even if it wasn't just their child, just treating another human like that is absolutely disgusting. I would get out of there as soon as you can. You've been offered a getaway here. You can move away to your girlfriend's house, a family that supports you. Get in with that family, take them on board. They sound like great people and they will support you and give you the life that you deserve. But Cat's a Cat says, not the arsehole, leave, get on your feet and never look back. Build a family that will love and support you for being you. Family and relatives are not the same thing. Read Harpy's Child, Google it to get a good sense of narcissists. And Mark Roth69 says, not the arsehole, they just want to control you. Leave, space will be better for you. And if having space doesn't improve their outlook, that means space is even more important for you. Skitten says, not the arsehole. You can't be an arsehole for leaving your abusers. And if your parents were reasonable, non-abusive parents, they never would have reacted that way to you. An adult deciding that moving out is what is best for you. By the way, just leaving them with no warning does not make you an arsehole. It makes you a sensible person who escaped horrible abusers. And Casey says, not the arsehole. Move in with your girlfriend and immediately go no contact, or you might regret it. You owe them absolutely nothing. You're 18 and an adult. They want to own you, own your decisions, tell you what your sexuality should be according to them, and deny you your happiness. Do not let them do that to you any longer when you have a way out. Also, move out today if you can. Do not wait. Based on what you've said, they may take drastic measures to prevent you from leaving. Take whatever you need, like important papers, and leave everything else behind. Just walk out the door, say nothing, and don't look back. Get a burner phone and leave the phone they gave you behind after you copy your contact info and wipe it. Pull the SIM card and trash it so they can never recover anything and harass you. Live your best life and forget about them. And one more from Inky Ginge, who says, not the arsehole. No way, no how. This is definitely emotional manipulation on their part. Leave and don't look back. Whatever they say is not true. They're just trying to protect their image and guilt you into feeling like the bad guy. You are not the bad guy, you are doing the right thing. Keep listening to your girlfriend and her parents. Now, as I said, we do have an update which follows, and let's hope for some positivity, and let's hope OP did get away from this. So, update. So it's been almost 9 months since my last post. I left. I followed feedback saying to not tell my parents exactly when I'm leaving, and I told them I was still thinking it over. After an evening of my dad screaming at me about how I was replacing him, I arranged to leave the next morning while he was out of the house. I quickly packed all I owned. After being picked up, my dad called my girlfriend's mum, threatening to call the police. We went back to the house and girlfriend's dad went in alone to talk to him. My dad even had a buddy come to defend him, but he lost the argument and I left. I never looked back. I suffered from disassociation and flashbacks, but I'm really healing. I've been going to therapy. My therapist is amazing. My dad is indeed a narcissist and I had symptoms of PTSD. But I've made so much progress. I have low contact with him and strict boundaries. I'm the healthiest and happiest I've ever been. I'm working through things that were buried deep. My girlfriend's parents have taken me in and become the mum and dad I've never had. I've never felt so loved. I have a real family and so much freedom. They are so accepting. Since leaving, I've got a pet gecko, came out as non-binary, and I'm currently planning me and my girlfriend's engagement with her parents. The ring is ordered. My girlfriend has been so supportive and she's the love of my life. She's currently sitting beside me and teared up reading my last post. I also reconnected with my grandparents and aunts in the US. They dislike my dad passionately, and I'm going to go there to attend college and follow my dreams. Immense thank you to everyone who commented on my post. It was a push I needed, and I appreciate each and every one of you. My heart is full. Edit, thank you for all the support and comments. I feel bad that I can't respond to every single one, but I appreciate all of you. And I should have clarified. I really appreciate the advice that I shouldn't rush my relationship. I'm very excited and we're getting engaged soon, but we are definitely only getting married when I'm finished in college and financially stable. I want to be fully prepared before taking that step. Oh, these updates, man, I tell you what, they set me off. In that second paragraph when it said, you know, their disassociation and flashbacks, but then they were really healing, gave me goosebumps. Because sometimes you forget that, you know, there's a real person behind these stories and this has happened to someone and they've been through all these emotions and stuff like that. It's absolutely incredible. So to have this all turned around and this positive healing is going on somewhere in the world. And I find that absolutely fascinating and incredible. And I'm very happy that they did move out in the end. And, you know, it'd be interesting to know what the parents' thoughts are now. Do they still stand by their guns, or do they realize that they've made a huge mistake? I would probably guess they'd be sticking to their guns and not changing, but you never know, right? But what do you guys think of our first story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's move on to the next one. And our next story comes from Temp772. Am I the arsehole for making my son deal with rotting meat? I go hunting every year. I'm not a trophy hunter by any means. I do it for meat and almost purely for economic reasons at this point. Taking a few of deer off my property once a year keeps my freezer stocked and the grocery bill way down, which is important because finances can be tight sometimes. As a little relevant background, the bulk of the meat is kept in a large freezer in the garage, and about once a week we pull out what we need for the next week or so, which means the freezer is normally only opened about once a week. My son, 15, has decided that he is vegetarian about 6 months ago, which my wife and I have no problems with. We started making meatless meals twice a week and made sure every other dinner was such that the meat was separate from everything else so he could still eat with us. This has been working great for the last 6 months with no complaints. However, last week when I pulled the meat for the week out the freezer in the garage, he decided to come behind me and unplug the freezer. I guess he thought we weren't doing enough to support his cause. He never spoke to us or complained about our twice a week setup prior to unplugging the freezer. Well, as you can imagine, with a now unrefrigerated pile of meat in the summer heat, it didn't take long for the meat to start to rot and stink. The freezer kept the smell in for a while, so by the time that we finally noticed, everything was completely putrid. I asked my son if he knew what happened, and he proudly said that he unplugged it on purpose, and now we would have to be meat-free. I told him that he didn't have the right to ruin a freezer full of meat and raise the family grocery bill without discussing it with anyone. I told him that as part of his punishment, he had to clean up his mess, meaning dispose of all the rotting meat and either sufficiently clean and sanitize the freezer or purchase a new one out of his savings. He called me the arsehole for making him interact with meat in any form, but he made the mess so he needs to clean it up. Am I the arsehole? And we'll start with Liz Weasley on this one, who says, not the arsehole. I'm vegetarian myself and I'd argue what he's done is worse because the deer have now died for no reason. Plus, it's not okay for him to intentionally ruin the family groceries and waste money. Buying a new freezer might be overkill, but I don't think it's unreasonable at all to clean it. Edit, I stand corrected. Sounds like a new freezer is needed. And I want to say one thing says, 1000% not the arsehole. I'm fully vegan, have been for 4 years. I wouldn't even unplug someone's meat supply because it's against the whole point of being vegetarian or vegan. It forces additional deaths of animals completely unnecessarily. By the way, you hunting a couple of deer a year that are on your property and presumably of decent size and age is actually quite vegan of you. Best of luck dealing with him. He needs education in not eating meat. Ghostwriter says not the arsehole, and I have also smelled the very specific and unforgettable smell of a freezer full of game some arsehat left unplugged for a year. He will never forget this lesson. He will need a TT Vec painter's suit from Home Improvement Store, gloves, goggles, and like 6 jars of Vicks Vapor Rub, and it still won't be enough. And warn the neighbours. Oh my word, that sounds like it'd be awful. And Dormant Dormouse says, vegetarian here, not the arsehole. This kid absolutely deserves to scrub that thing until it shines. What he did was deplorable in so many ways. And I got to say that was like my first thought as I was reading it, where you've just wasted like a whole freezer of meat so the animal died for no reason. So yeah, I think it would always be a not the arsehole, but maybe someone else has got a different point of view on this one. What is your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments below and we'll move on to the next one. And our next story comes from Riberino. Would I be the arsehole if I reported my new neighbor for antisocial behavior? I own an apartment in a very desirable building with extensive maintained grounds. These grounds are purely ornamental though, and never used as a garden. Most residents have balconies, however, some of the one-bed apartments don't. Irregardless, in my 2 years of living here, I've never seen anyone use the grounds as if it was their personal space. We have been experiencing a heatwave, and for the last 4 days, I've noticed a woman sunbathing on the grass. She brings a blanket and a book and is out there for hours, reading in a bikini top and shorts. On the first day, I asked her if she lived in the building, and she said she did, having recently moved in. Later on, I saw her access the building with keys, so I don't think she was lying. She was literally out there from 10 AM till 4 PM. Today, I saw her again and let her know that the gardens weren't to be used in that way. She told me she was a resident. I think she rents, as I know most of the owners in the building, and was under the impression the outdoor space is communal. She mentioned a realtor had told her that, and it was a huge reason as to why she moved here. I was a little intimidated by her, so didn't argue too long. Just reinforced that the grounds weren't for sunbathing, but I later shared a photo of her from my window and shared it with the residents' WhatsApp group to remind others to call out this antisocial behaviour. Some residents agreed, but others said that I was being weird. Someone added the new tenant to the group, and she posted a long message approving if her attire made people uncomfortable, she wasn't going to stay inside in 30 Celsius heat when she has green space right outside. I'm considering reporting her to the landlord if she continues. Am I the arsehole? There are plenty of parks nearby. And there is an edit and more information, which OP adds, I'm not sure why, but firstly, for all those calling me Karen, I'm a 29-year-old man. I am not unhappy or alone. English is not my native language, and I'm not based in America, so we may have different understanding of the word antisocial. In my country, annoyance to your neighbours is antisocial. Her lying outside half naked makes our building look tacky. She makes it look like a university dorm. This could lead to apartments losing value. I know she rents as there is a great demand for apartments in this block, and it's a big deal when one is for sale. I didn't imagine she lives in a flat with a balcony. I don't think I'm being classist either, as these apartments are all very expensive and she must pay the expensive rent to live here. I also don't think she would pay towards ground costs, her landlord would. I wouldn't mind so much if she placed her blanket slightly further away from the front lawn, as she's on full display for everyone approaching the building. I do not get why she can't go to the park. She's already comfortable being half naked in public, so why not a park? I will accept that I shouldn't contact her landlord about this, and perhaps there was no need to photograph her, but I still maintain that sunbathing out front in public view is tacky and is serious annoyance to the neighbours everywhere. Now I know there was some discrepancy on the way he was using antisocial, but the woman's just sunbathing, man. I mean, come on. And you're the one who's taking photos. That's the antisocial behaviour, and putting it on a WhatsApp group. That's a bit worrying to me. And I can understand why some of your neighbours were calling you out and saying it's a bit creepy, because that is creepy. And then the fact that you approached her and told her, you know, this isn't a place you were meant to sunbathe, and then you had to back away because she was intimidating you. I mean, come on, man. Or you found her intimidating anyway. And I just want to read out this comment first, because the unwritten script said info. Does your building have an actual rule about not being in the communal outdoor spaces? Or is it just because you haven't seen anyone do it in the 2 years you've been there? If they don't have a rule, then you're already the arsehole, especially for taking photos of her. That's invasive and weird. And why in the world are you labeling this antisocial behavior just because she's outside enjoying the weather? OP replied saying, the rules state that the grounds are not to be used for ball games, exercising of dogs, or antisocial behavior. I worry that this will lead to her getting bolder and having barbecues or friends over. She's already invited neighbours to come down and hang out with her if they wish. So she's doing the exact opposite of being antisocial. She's inviting people to join her, and the possibility of barbecues and bringing your community together sounds like a positive experience to me. Oh dear OP, you've to me anyway, you're definitely the arsehole in this one. But let's check out some comments, some further comments to see what they say. And we'll start with Hot Audience, who says, why is her sunbathing in a communal space bothering you? Also, how is her behaviour antisocial? If anything, yours is. You're the arsehole. Lizzie says you're the arsehole unless there's a specific rule that she's breaking. You need to mind your own business. You sound like the busybody neighbour that people tend to dislike. Reporting her for being antisocial. What? Ridiculous. Glaxon Flux says, who made you the garden police? In what world is someone sunbathing on their property antisocial behaviour? Is it in the apartment rules that residents can't use the gardens? You're the arsehole. And one more from I Am Real Monkey, who says, you're the arsehole, actually you're a mega arsehole. She's using outdoor space for a perfectly valid reason and not damaging anything. This somehow bothers you, so you want her to stop. You are the reason homeowners associations usually suck. There's always some nosy busybody who wants to tell others what to do. Apologise and leave the poor woman alone. Now, do you have a different take on this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and your verdicts on all of today's stories. I always love to hear them, but never any pressure to share them either, only if you want to. Because I never want anyone to feel pressure whilst they're here. If you just want to enjoy a story or two, you just bloody enjoy a story or two. Thank you so much for your love, support, and time towards the channel. It means the absolute world to me. You honestly make a huge difference to the way this channel performs and the way I can run things. So thank you so much for being legends, and I will see you in the next one. Oh yeah, there's a playlist above right now. Why not give that a click too? Much love, guys. I got food up in the fridge. Y'all keep looking for that new wave.
I think I like it how it is.